So the exercise is to set up an apple and to paint it in 10 minutes. And when you're done, you rotate the apple to a different angle and then paint it again. So after drawing the apple, the first thing I do is break it down into two values, light and dark. I'm using a very limited palette here to keep things simple and quick. I have ultramarine blue, cadmium red, cadmium lemon, and titanium white. I'm also not using any medium, just paint and paint thinner. Then I get the background in. I then use this background color for the reflected light on the apple. Get this reflected light, just see, kind of works its way around here, and the pressure which you push the brush is big on this. I'm kind of like letting it blend into the red that's there. Comes up like that. Gets a little stronger on the edges here. Trying to create another lighter value before I get to that bright highlight. You want to try and save your bright highlight for the last thing so you're not working around it. You want to just be able to kind of lay it on there and be done. Got 1 minute. All right. That's 10 minutes. Change position of the apple. All right, now before we move on to my second attempt at this apple, I want to talk a little more about this exercise and why I like it so much. I actually came across the exercise in this book, Daily Painting by Carol Marine. If you're really into daily painting and you really like still lifes, this is probably the best book you could get. I'll put a link to where you can get it in the description below. It's a cool exercise, and she suggests to tape off a piece of canvas into little, 3 by 3 inch squares, and only give yourself 10 minutes to paint the apple, rotate the apple, try it again. I've done different versions of this exercise before. I've had instructors, do this with portraits, still lifes, landscapes, but I hadn't done this in a while. I was going through the book and I was like, I feel like I could use that right now. And the cool thing about this exercise is that it really will help you with painting absolutely anything, because it just is so streamlined and gets straight to what makes a painting work, which are the fundamentals. I mean, you're gonna find out really quickly which one of the fundamentals you struggle with. And we all struggle with something. I don't care how good you are. You can always find something about one of those fundamentals to get better in your own work. And those fundamentals are form, color, value, drawing, simplification, edges, all packed into a 10-minute exercise, which is awesome. So for example, this exercise is gonna really help you with form and understanding it, seeing it, developing it. So if you struggle with getting the form of an apple, you're really gonna struggle when it comes time to paint a tree or a bush in a landscape. Another example with portraiture is reflected light. If you struggle with reflected light in your portraits and you just don't understand it, you tend to make it more bright than it really is. This exercise, you're gonna deal with reflected light. So let's jump back on the easel and try another one. I actually have been mixing up all 3 of my primaries to get a brown to tone the canvas with before I start. And for these, I'm also using a number 0 and a number 2 ivory flat brush from my brush set with Rosemary & Co. Kind of outline where shadow kind of shape. Again, I start by breaking the apple down into just 2 values. Into our ground color for the reflected light. In it, right here on the rim, where the stem is, because that's facing down. Down here is also catching a lot of reflected light. Actually gotta mix up a fresh batch of this color here. I think it's pretty strong right there. And on this left side, a little bit. We're about 4 minutes in. I want to jump to a lighter red here. Coming back to a dark red again, kind of reestablish this dark side better. A little darker down in there. Now to do something I don't like in this one, and that I had to paint around my main highlight because I didn't lay in enough lighter values before putting that brightest highlight on top. Sometimes it happens, you just got to roll with it. All right, we got one more apple to do, but I just wanted to say that, you know, this exercise is also good to use as a warm-up. You know, you can do 2 or 3 of these before painting just to get yourself in the groove and going. I must say though, I had done the previous day like 9 of these, you know, as like a little test run. And it was really interesting to see the progression through 9 of them. And they really did get better the more I did. And by like the last 3, like I was getting into a really good groove and I was like kind of figuring out a lot of things. So if you got the time, you know, try and do a lot of them at once. And I think you'll be surprised at how good you'll get from the beginning to the end. Also, it's a kind of a good palette cleanser. You know, if you're ever stuck on something, you're just kind of banging your head against the wall in a painting, you can't figure it out, or even like an aspect of painting. Like I've had a student that, you know, was really struggling with landscapes and he kept attacking him doing landscape after landscape after landscape and just wasn't getting anywhere. You know, it's sometimes good just, you know, to take a step back, put that painting away or that subject away for a day or two and try something like this just to kind of shaking things up and just get back to the base of like, you know, what makes a painting work. I mean, that's the main reason I did it. I was kind of like not knowing where to go with my painting or what to do next. And I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna do this. And this always kind of gives me a refresher, gives me a new perspective. It's also an answer to the question I hate the most, which is, what do I do if I don't know what to paint? Do this exercise. Don't think about it too much if you don't have like a specific idea for something. Just start painting. All right, let's jump on in for one last apple. By now you know the drill. Draw it in and get those 2 values blocked out. Let's get this ground down. That's going to help us figure out the inside of the apple. It's a similar color, but it's a lot more yellow in it. So I gotta get this in first. A little more yellow like this, kind of like a yellowish green. There's the part down here that's catching the light more. And cool it down a bit, kind of push it more towards green inside. Touch of red in there. Getting some of that reflected light right through here. A little lighter, the red. A little bit of red and just kind of push it into this green inside. 30 seconds. There we go. Now I feel like all ready and warmed up to start painting something. All right, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. The full version of this exercise is on my Patreon page. Link to that is in the description below. And if you want to see what I'm painting on a daily basis, you can follow me on Instagram at Forza43. I'm Chris Fornatero, here telling you to go get painting.